Hello and welcome to the Maple Grove City Report. I'm Dave Kaiser from Northwest Community Television. It's time for another look at what's new in Maple Grove and a recap of the most recent council meeting. And on today's show, a very special guest. Stay with us. Maple Grove City Report up next. And hello and welcome to the Maple Grove City Report. I'm Dave Kaiser, and joining us is Carol Morris. You've heard her name many times on the City Report. We finally got her in. Welcome, Carol.
Thank you, Dave.
Carol is the executive assistant to the city administrator. Otherwise, she keeps Al in line, correct?
I try.
And many other duties, so we will tell you more about those if we have time at the end of the program. But Carol has a full set of notes here. We've got some ideas of things happening around town. Also some reminders as we move into the winter season that Carol has put together. And then, of course, a look at the last council meeting. But let's start with a look around town. If people have been paging through magazines at home recently, they might have found a story in Money magazine about Maple Grove.
They very well
Tell us a little bit about that and what
Yeah.
that means to the city.
That's a big recognition for this city. Back in 2012, we were rated number 22 of best places to live in America. And for 2014, we bumped up all the way up to number 2.
Congratulations to Maple Grove.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about the process. How does this
Certainly.
work? What do they look at?
They look at quite a few factors. In fact, they say that there's about 50 factors. They start off with about 781 cities that they look at. And they look at factors such as affordable housing, business development, theaters, golf courses, quality of life, so many different things, financials, education, and then they narrow it down to about 30, and those they go and visit. So they came to Maple Grove, and then we were contacted to do some fact checking for them, and they were kind of secretive. They said, well, you're in the running, but they wouldn't quite say where. And so we did some fact checking for them and provided some photos, and then voila, we were number 2.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So tell me, take me back to how the city used this in marketing when you were number 22. And now how will you use it when you're number 2?
Yeah, we've really been spreading the word for number 2. Quite a few press releases from local agencies and the Chamber of Commerce and Minneapolis Northwest, all the way up to the state, to the governor and everything, and just letting them know. And there's some other wonderful communities in Minnesota that were recognized as well, and well within the top 25 too.
Something tells me that a few realtors in town may have this magazine in their briefcase or in their car, so as they go through Maple Grove and talk about it as a place to live, this is certainly something that's very helpful.
Yeah, it's a really nice recognition of so many things, you know, our mayor and council and their leadership, our financial stability, the growth and planning that we have, the proximity that we are to so many amenities, our town green, the farmers market, Maple Grove days, restaurants, shopping, so we're
You
very,
mentioned
very
restaurants.
fortunate.
I see in your notes here. We've got a figure about restaurants, and this can't be right. Tell me what this number is.
It says, according to their records, that within a 15-mile radius of Maple Grove, there are almost, I think it was like 3,458 restaurants.
Who needs to eat at home, right? There's so many opportunities. Well, congratulations to the city, some great information. Do you have a few of these magazines floating around the government center by chance? Okay.
We do.
When did it come out? What
definitely.
was the date of the magazine? Do you know, or month?
It's actually the October issue.
Okay.
So we knew a little bit in advance, and we were not able to get a copy at the time that it came out. Everybody was asking.
Okay, so keep your eye open for that. Again, congratulations to the city of Maple Grove. Other things happening around town. You've got a big date coming up on October 15th. We've talked many times with Al about the Sky at Arbor Lakes, this big building that's coming up out of the ground, and I understand there's already people inside, but now there's going to be an official opening. Tell us about that.
Correct. On October 15th at 4:30 p.m., they are holding a ribbon cutting and grand opening. There are about 40 units that are occupied right now, and as they continue construction and they get the go-ahead, more people will continue to move in. But it is quite a facility, and it's really amazing to have watched it come out of the ground. The parking garage that they are, they're building the apartments around the parking garage, which will be a wonderful amenity and convenience for people, but there's so much more to it too. The development has a pool and a lounge and a fitness area and a dog park and just some wonderful amenities for the residents living there. And plus it's really in close proximity to the Central Park, and that was done purposefully, and the city allowed them to develop as close as they could to that.
All right, so not just a tour of an apartment if you go to this opening. It is much more, as Carol mentioned. You can walk around the game room, the juice bar, find out some of the other things that are in new apartment buildings these days. The following day, we've talked about it, not just with Al recently, but for I think about 20 years, is Highway 610. And the next step is moving forward. What is the next step?
One more phase. This one will actually connect 610 to I-94. So that's the last big piece of that puzzle. So that groundbreaking will take place on Thursday the 16th at 1 p.m. Mayor Stephenson will be our master of ceremonies, and the gathering, there will be signs posted, but they will be gathering right around 610 Elm Creek Boulevard area. So the governor is expected to be there, as well as Senators Klobuchar and Franken, and our state senators and representatives, and lots of people to celebrate that next connection.
Now again, from your standpoint, can you even count how many articles you've written over the years for the newsletter about 610? Or how many times it's been on the council agenda?
Yep, all those different pieces. And this will be a big one, but there is still work to be done after that. A lot of the development of the roads and everything. It will certainly connect and people can get on and off, but there's much more plans in the works even after that.
Sure, city looking a little bit further to the west and how that might connect to next phases of development out there. Building permits in general, let's talk a little bit about homes in the city of Maple Grove. The numbers still growing well?
Numbers are still going well. We are holding steady. Year to date, we have 144 single family homes, 88 townhouses, and 244 multi-tenant housing. It's the residential single family is about the same as last year, and we're about halfway with the multi-tenant. Last year we had some large, almost close to 600 by that time this year. So
all right,
still going strong.
Keep you up to date on those numbers as they move ahead. One thing, again, another one of the seasonal reminders that we're going to talk about here is water meters. A lot of work was done. We talked about it on the show in past years about water meters throughout the city of Maple Grove, and you have a little note for people to maybe take an extra look at the meter this fall season. Why is that?
Well, one thing, the beauty of the project that took place last year, and there were about 16,000 water meters that were replaced in home. It's much more automated now, so people don't have to fill in a card or anything and mail in. I know for our home, we were one of those, fill out the card every month and bring it in, and we don't have to do that anymore. But the beauty of the new water meters is that they can track continuous flow. So our staff can look and see if there's water running at a continuous rate, they can notify the residents. And we just got a thank you from a resident for notifying them. And it was an issue with their toilet that was running, and they were able to get it fixed and save themselves some money and some water in the long run.
Excellent. So the city will keep an eye on it, but for residents, I would guess the word here as we head into the season and people will be a little more indoors is check the toilets, make sure they're not running continuously, or faucets
water
and things
softener,
like that.
Drips and those kind of things, and take care of. And I know a lot of people will turn off their outside water as well, to the hoses and those kind of things, so that will help as well.
All right, take a little attention to the water here as we head in. We've got Halloween Family Fun Day. We had a chance in Channel 12 story to talk to
You
Deb
did,
Syrie
yes.
about this, and
Yes.
she loves this event. It's no secret, and it's a lot of fun. Tell us about Halloween Family Fun for
Yep.
people that are watching us in the earlier version of this. You still have a chance to get involved, and I know this event fills up as
It
well,
does
so you have to
fill
act
up.
fast. Tell us
So,
about that.
Yep, it's actually their 6th year for doing this, and
Okay.
that just goes to show how fast time flies. But it is on Saturday, October 18th, from 1 to 4 p.m. at Weaver Lake Park, and they have, gosh, I think 20 plus stations for the kids, anywhere from bingo, mini golf, to crafts, to getting your hairspray painted, and just lots of fun things for the kids to come out, wear their costumes. And I believe the cost is $5 for kids for ages 3 to 8, and then adults are free, and hopefully good weather.
Yes?
We'll stick around.
That would be nice. And so if people are interested, they can go to maplegrovedays.org as the place to go.
Correct.
And there's an easy way to register there. And I also understand that because it is so big, parking gets full. Believe it or not, that big lot at Weaver Lake Park gets full, so people can park, I believe it's off of 82nd, that is just close by where the ball fields are, and then walk down through the
Yeah,
trees.
yeah.
But they turned that big rope climb area into the biggest spider web
Yes.
in town. And I hear they hide things under the sand out at the beach area. So
Okay,
a couple things
lots
to
of
look forward
lots
to.
of fun things that they do for the kids.
It is election time as we move
It
on through the
is,
year
it
here.
is.
What does that mean for your area and this?
Our administration department has been working, boy, pretty much the whole year. Definitely since early spring, to get so many pieces of that election going, and recruiting election judges,
Right.
and getting all the pieces in place, testing the equipment, training the judges, so many different aspects of it, and they do a wonderful job. And so there's a real dedicated group to handling that, and absentee voting just started, and that's popular and going to be expected to be even more popular this year, because no longer do people need a reason for doing absentee voting. It's called no excuse absentee voting. Before, they used to have to, oh, I'm out of the district, or unable to get there,
Right.
that sort of thing. So they're expecting that.
Very good. And election day, of course, is November 4th. 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. is the
Yep.
time, and some results will be on Channel 12, so you can watch for those. If you're interested in finding out where you vote, again, the useful tool is the Secretary of State site, right?
They have an amazing website. Anything from registering to vote, seeing what the ballot is looking like, all those different aspects, what your precinct is.
And for
Yep.
the city of Maple Grove, just in case you haven't been following it too closely, the races the city has would be the race for the mayor.
Correct.
And also 2 council seats, correct?
Yes, 2 council seats. Councilmember Jager and Councilmember Leith are up for election, as is Mayor Stephenson. There's 3 candidates for mayor, and then 5 candidates running for council.
Okay, so no primary in Maple Grove, so they all go to the general election, so you have a few extra names there, so time to get out and do a little research for that. Now, again, I mentioned at the open of the show, this is the person we talk about all the time related to the farmer's market, and I know you have a great crew that you work with on that.
We do.
So
We
tell
have
us
an
a little
amazing
bit.
staff.
You have got the phase 2 of the market season going right now, the indoor market. Tell us when that is, where
Yep.
that is, and what are some of the things people can find there.
Sure. We actually do still have 3 Thursdays outside.
Okay, so still a
So
little
we are
outside,
still,
okay.
we're still going strong, and hopefully the weather will hold out for us.
Good.
But so far, so good. So the market hours are 3 to 6 p.m. outside at the community center. And then starting on Thursday, November 6th, we move inside the community center. So still the same location, still the same hours of 3 to 6 p.m. And we'll have about 25 vendors inside. And we gather together the 1st and 3rd Thursdays in November and December. And then a bonus this year is we're extending the season. And we're planning to go into 2015 and have markets in January, February, and March, and that would be the 3rd Thursday, 3 to 6 p.m. So we're looking forward to that, and we're actually celebrating our 10th year inside.
Hard to believe.
It is hard to
You
believe.
must like this. With all the time and effort you put into this, this must be a real passion of yours.
It really has become. I don't have a green thumb. I am totally a shopper, not a grower. And we have an amazing market manager, Kirsten Banson-Weigel, who really heads everything up for us, as well as a market assistant and market cashier. So the city really is supportive of the farmers market and has really made an investment in this community gathering place.
And the numbers continue to grow as we've reported. A lot of people turn out for this.
They do, and we
how
want
about-
more.
Okay, that's good.
We're
We'll
always
take
looking for
them.
more.
And we've got a special event to tell you about. The number of vendors and the desire for vendors and people to be in the market from a vendor side. You have to, I suppose, deal with some of that. What is the list like, and what do people tell you from a vendor standpoint about Maple Grove's market?
They're very pleased with our market. We have quite a few returning vendors year after year. We do have a solid set of guidelines, and we have a mission that we stay with the emphasis really being on local agricultural vendor-grown products.
Right.
Some markets do crafts and home-based consultant type products
Sure.
and that's all great and wonderful, but we're just a little bit more traditional in the end of our market. And our vendors really appreciate that we have those guidelines and stick to it.
Right, right.
They always say that the atmosphere is very upbeat. The customers are wonderful. Our shoppers are loyal. They come back year after year and support the vendors, and then vice versa too. It really is a mix of both of them. We wouldn't have a market without the vendors, and we wouldn't have a market without the shoppers.
Exactly. All right, that special event to mark on your calendar. Halloween is coming soon, and you've got a trick-or-treating event around the market.
Yep, that's become our tradition on our last outdoor day of the market, which is Thursday, October 23rd. We invite kids to come in their costume and trick-or-treat around at the various vendor booths. It's a lot of fun.
So do they find candy then in their bag, or do they get like a tomato or a cucumber or something dropped in there on occasion?
Some do. Some might get a squash or an apple.
That's right.
But
What is this? How do I eat this?
Yeah.
Maybe they could put in the directions of how to bake it.
Yeah,
with the
exactly.
thing. So look forward to that. Again, on the city's website, all the information about the market
Yep,
and how to
most
get involved.
definitely.
All right, let's move a little bit more into the winter season. Mailboxes.
Yes.
The time of year is coming when plows might have to be out and about.
Unfortunately, yes.
And you have a reminder for residents to maybe now, before it's too cold, check your mailbox.
Absolutely.
Why?
Before the snow flies, just check your mailbox, particularly your post, and then the height of it. Make sure your post is sturdy. Your mailbox should be a minimum of 48 inches high and just far enough back so that the plow wing and everything can come by, and high enough so that it doesn't hit the box itself. But our Public Works Department is more than happy to give those, requirements and everything if people do want to contact them.
All right. Let's move back to the world of development. A few other items to tell you about of things popping up. Silver Creek on Main. I have
Yes.
never seen so many cranes in
I
one
know.
little area.
It's true.
That's an amazing building.
It
Tell
is
us about
amazing.
the progress
It is
there.
amazing, and it's neat. We're able to look out Al's office and see it all happening. But it's really coming along well, the construction of it. It's the first phase, and that's 195 units. When all is said and done, with all the different phases, it should be about 360 units. Anywhere from a theater and beauty shop and dining room to a fitness center and just some wonderful amenities. And then a wonderful location too.
Right.
Can't
Can't beat
for
that.
that project.
All
Yeah.
right, keep your eye on that as that comes
Yeah.
up. For people driving around the city of Maple Grove, you might have noticed a little congestion on 494 due to some orange cones and things out there. Give us an update on the progress there. It looks like they're well underway.
They are well underway, and like any project, once it's done, it will be wonderful and convenient.
Right.
But they are adding that third lane, all the way from Highway 55 on up to the Fish Lake interchange. So it is impacting quite a few commuters, especially and
And
stuff.
it sounds like
but-
weekends would be the key time that they're looking to maybe take it down to
Right.
one lane. So just
Correct.
keep that in mind if you're traveling to the shops or some of the areas on the weekends. it might even be backed up just because it's one lane.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and we are right in the middle of that as we tape this, and some of the departments in the city of Maple Grove pay some special attention to that.
Yep.
Tell us about
Yep,
that.
particularly our police department. Police Chief Warner just wanted to make everyone aware of that. There are certainly resources available to those in need. The city partners with Cornerstone Advocacy Services for a number of resources and services that those may be in need. And so people are certainly encouraged to use them and certainly call 911 or a friend or anyone that they can turn to in their time of need.
Very good, important information. Get your calendars out now. We've got some events to tell you about, and if again you're watching the show in the earlier part of October or mid-October as we're taping this, if you love crafts, and you might get some Christmas gifts here. Women of Today having a special event.
Yep, their annual craft show, and that is actually this Saturday, October 11th, from 9 to 4 inside the community center, so that's always well received.
And a week and a day later, if you like waffles and breakfast items, the Lions can help you out.
Yep, the Maple Grove Lions from 8 to 1 on Sunday, October 19th at the community center as well. So
All right.
always
so
a lot
just keep driving
going
by
on.
the community center
Yeah,
on the
really.
weekends, right? And there's bound to be something happening
definitely.
there. If you go a little further up in town, you'll find the yard waste site, and it is that time of the year where that gets very, very busy. Give us some of the facts we need to know about the yard waste sites.
Certainly. It is a popular spot, especially now with people cleaning up their leaves and getting them ready for winter. The yard waste site will accept grass, yard waste, plant materials, brush, logs up to 10 inches, quite a few items, and that's all free of charge to residents, but residents should take note that they should bring some sort of ID with them, whether it be a Minnesota ID or a driver's license, and then it's all free of charge to them, and they can just drop everything there. They do have to take any bags back home with them, but it's a wonderful service. And but do expect a line.
Yes, if you come on the weekend,
Weekends
just like the line on
especially.
494, there'll be a line at that site
Yep.
to get in and drop things
Yep.
off, but a great staff there, and it's very efficient, so
Yes.
hope you can take advantage of that.
Yep.
Run through a few other items before we get to that council agenda. Wright Hennepin Solar, you have had some meetings as a staff with
Yep.
those folks. Talk a little bit more about
Yeah,
solar
they're
energy.
looking to do a variety of solar projects in Maple Grove, so it's really just in the infancy right now and just kind of a look-see, but the city will be providing them with several different sites that might be a possibility for them.
All right, and if you're a history buff, we want to make sure you do remember that on Sundays you have a chance to learn a little bit more about the history of the city of Maple Grove. And this is at the Public Works facility in the older portion of that building.
Correct.
Tell us when that happens, what people will see if they come.
Yep, it's the second Sunday of each month from 1 to 4 p.m. You kind of enter from the south end of the facility. And the Historical Society just within the last 2 weeks had a nice new sign put up right along Forest View, so people will really be able to catch that, and it will notify them if the museum is open or closed. But gosh, anything from old wedding dresses and kitchen displays and school items and just a lot of the development from farming in a small community to a big booming suburban community.
Yep, it's fun to visit, so make sure you get a chance to stop by there. The Ebola virus, we've heard a lot about that, and the city of Maple Grove has been responding and continues to get information out.
Right.
How can people find information?
The best way really to do that is on our city website, and there is right on the home page under the most requested area along the left-hand side is infectious disease info. They can click to that, and we have a couple links to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control as well as to the Minnesota Department of Health.
Okay.
They've got a lot of information there.
Part of the fun for me on the Maple Grove Report is to decode codes that the city might have on occasion and to get them out to the public. So here's one for you, GMATIF. It has something to do with the gravel mining area, so tell us what GMATIF means for residents right now.
The first part is the gravel mining area. The second part is the tax increment financing.
Right.
And that was really one of Al's babies for several years, and that did pass through the legislation this year. So work will go into looking into the development and using tax increment financing for industrial and commercial development to come in. It will not be utilized for retail or housing, but strictly for commercial development. And so what the city is looking at doing is we have for our residential development a project point system. So staff is meeting to create a similar criteria for development of the gravel mining area. So a lot of different factors that will go into that. Employment, jobs created, will be some of the factors that they'll take a look at. And then a developer will get so many points, and if those points meet the minimum, then they'll move further in the process.
All right. Well, we are just having too much fun here, and we have another page full of items we can talk about before the agenda, but let's touch on the agenda real quick, and then we can certainly come back if we have time.
Yep.
The October 6th meeting was a rather short meeting, about a half hour in time, but there were 5 or 6 big things that happened during that meeting. First of all, some staff recognitions.
Yes. We congratulate Police Sergeant Dan Wills, who has been promoted to captain. And so he's taking the place of Captain Stilley, who recently retired. And then we also just signed on a new police officer. And in the near future, they'll be taking their oath of office at a council meeting.
Very good. And
Yep.
over in the fire department, a few
Over
things
in the
happening
fire
there.
department, yep. Lisa Douglas, one of our fire inspectors, is heading south not just for the winter, but for good. And so she's going to be moving to Tucson, Arizona. And we certainly do wish her the best. And she's been very dedicated to the city, and we appreciate that very much.
Congratulations to her. Development item to talk about, Lazy Boy is coming to town, and
Yep.
that site preparation and discussion continues to move ahead?
Correct. That will be in the area of the fountains at Arbor Lakes, right near the new Freddy Steakburger that's coming out of the ground. So
And timing on that, do you have any idea when they might be open for business?
I do not know those
Okay.
facts.
All
Yep.
right, we'll keep you up to date on that. Council set a hearing for a business in town. Give us a little recap of what that
Correct.
was.
Thai Massage they're reviewing some suspected illegal activity, and there will be a hearing that will take place to review that just prior to the next council meeting on Monday, October 20th at 7 p.m. So currently their business license is suspended, and then the matter will be reviewed further at that October 20th meeting.
Okay. And then one of the very fun things to do as a council and as a city staff is to recognize people that do some great things in
Yes.
the area. And something happened in May that now more word is out about it in recognition. Tell us about that.
Yes. It was definitely a collaborative effort between police, fire, and paramedics, but they saved a young 8-year-old girl. And so there was a recognition at the council meeting on Monday night for that, and to honor them. And the little girl and her family were there. And yeah, they're kind of keeping things on the down low and stuff.
Understandable.
But definitely wanted to recognize those who really came through, and who we are also pleased to know that they are there at any time.
And I've heard too that defibrillators a key part of this as well, and obviously a lot has been done in Maple Grove through donations and the
Correct.
city staff to make sure defibrillators are in every police car.
Correct.
And that paid
Yes.
off.
Yes, it did. Yes, it most certainly did.
All right,
So-
one last announcement to give you, and then we're gonna wrap up for day. And what do you think? I think we should have Carol back sometime, does a fantastic job here. Central Park, just give people an update. They have
Yes.
seen a lot of earth moving in that area.
There is a lot of
What
earth
is the
moving.
latest?
The latest and the greatest is it is a 30-acre park area and pond, and so work is well underway for plans for opening in summer of 2015. There will be trails. There'll be a very neat skating loop that'll be very unique. Some interactive splash areas, pickleball courts, just so many amenities that people will be able to enjoy for many years to come. And it's going to be really a unique spot, and done in different phases and all. But
Right, so that's what I understand is that it won't all happen at once, but you kind of keep coming back, and you'll find
Yeah.
something new the next time you come. Well, Carol, thank you very much for the
Thank you,
information.
Dave.
Great job. Al will say, you've replaced me. We'll see what happens. Thank you very much
Thanks,
for joining us.
Dave.
Let's leave you with the next council meeting date. It is October 20th, a Monday at 7:30 at the Government Center. Carol mentioned the website a few times during the show. It is up on the top of the screen. Lots of information there about the city. If you have questions or comments, our viewer response line 533-1710. Give us a call. We might answer your question on upcoming program. For Carol Morris, I'm Dave Kaiser. Thanks for joining us on the Maple Grove City Report.